Ladies and gentlemen, Life University is proud to present the graduating class of March 2021.
Super job. I'm always so impressed with the talent of our students here at the institution. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Rob Scott, and I have the distinct pleasure of serving as president of Life University, and I'd like to begin today's celebration by expressing our deep appreciation and gratitude for each and every one of you during this very challenging time, and welcome you all in person to graduation here on our beautiful campus. You know, as an institution founded on vitalism, we have very strong beliefs. This belief that all living systems are inherently self-healing, self-maintaining, and self-organizing. And those beliefs of vitalism kind of instill our perspectives and attitudes and behaviors as they relate to how we live our life, including our health care behaviors. And while we're living in a pandemic, we also are an institution founded on another important value that we try to balance, and that's the value of lasting purpose. To give, to do, to love, to serve, out of a sense of one's own abundance. To give unconditionally, to serve for the sake of serving, and to love unconditionally. Which means respecting each and every one in our community. One of the reasons we're able to convene here and hold a graduation in person as opposed to remotely is because an institution we've agreed with our Douglas Public Health Department to abide by certain regulations during these times. So I'm going to ask all of us here today if we could participate in ensuring that we continue to be able to hold these gatherings, to please abide by those rules of the institution and wear a face covering if you could, please. You know, it goes without saying that we've all experienced unforeseen challenges that we could never have imagined 13 months ago. Our recent national unrest, heightened sense of vulnerability felt through COVID, has only been amplified by the recent tragic events that we've experienced here in Atlanta and Colorado. Each and every one of us has been touched in different ways through these events, and some of us have been touched tragically. So before we begin today's celebration and ceremonies, I ask that we observe just a moment of silence to contemplate the significance of this day, because it truly is a significant day. And in our silence, let's give thanks to all those things that have brought us to this moment. Let's remember the obstacles overcome, the joys shared with our families and friends, and those special people we wish could be with us today who are but aren't. So if you join me, please. Thank you. It's indeed my honor to welcome everyone to Life's beautiful campus for our March 2021 commencement, and we're delighted that the circumstances have permitted us to gather here in person, albeit with the necessary social distancing and public health requirements to do so. We must take the opportunity to celebrate the accomplishments of these distinguished candidates. So we have important work to do today, and that's to honor our graduates of the March 2021 class. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce the Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Tim Gross. Dr. Gross.
What we do here at Life sets us apart from all other colleges and universities. No other institution offers what Life does, and we are very proud of our work here, and especially proud of our talented faculty who have prepared these students for career success, life fulfillment, and meaningful contribution. William S. Burroughs, one of America's most influential authors and authors, said this: "The aim of education is knowledge, not of facts, but values," and we could not agree more. So in support of that premise, at Life University, education is rooted in 3 values. Life University's deans and faculty have selected members from their respective colleges who best represent each of these values, and we will recognize those recipients now. For the College of Graduate and Undergraduate Studies, Arcelis Moreno Santana. And for the College of Chiropractic, Zachary Bohm. These represent lasting purpose, to live an inner-directed life, to give, to do, to love, and to serve out of one's own abundance. For the College of Graduate and Undergraduate Studies, Christopher Boomer Borges. And for the College of Chiropractic, Cullen Ferdarco. Each representing integrity, a state of completeness or wholeness, adherence to a set of values, implying wholeness of body, mind, and spirit in our relationships with people and the planet. And for the College of Graduate and Undergraduate Studies, Natasha Kodinish. And for the College of Chiropractic, Monica Elise Epps Brady. Each representing vitalism, a recognition that the universe itself is self-conscious, and as such creates itself as a dynamic system wherein living organisms are self-developing, self-maintaining, and self-healing. Lasting purpose, integrity, and vitalism represent the foundation of a Life University education. They reflect our deepest values and are woven through every student's academic experience. The concepts of these values reflect the world's most important and far-reaching conversations, and we treat our role in that dialogue with the utmost respect. And now to the business at hand. Life University offers 22 degree programs at the associate's, bachelor's, master's, and professional doctoral levels. Today's commencement ceremony recognizes the accomplishments of those graduating from the College of Graduate and Undergraduate Studies and Life's flagship program, the Doctor of Chiropractic. The Bachelor's of Arts, Bachelor's of Science, and the Bachelor of Business Administration degree is awarded to those individuals who have successfully completed a minimum of 185 quarter credit hours of instruction. At this time, it is my pleasure to recognize undergraduate academic honors from this graduating class. For those of you unfamiliar with the awarding of academic honors and just how outstanding these accomplishments are, please refer to your program for explanation. So if you would please stand and remain standing as I call your name. Our salutatorian is Natasha Kodinish. And our valedictorian is Maverick Tyler Borges. Before I bring our valedictorian up, I'd like to share just a little bit about him. Maverick has been a full-time student at Life University, working with his instructors and classmates to learn as much as he could about psychology. He is continuing his education at graduate school in order to pursue a career in counseling. It is his goal to use his education to the best of his ability in order to make a positive impact on others. At this time, I'd like to invite Maverick to the stage to provide the valedictorian address.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maverick Borges, and I'm honored to be able to represent the 2021 graduate and undergraduate class. I'd first like to take a moment to thank all of the professors and the administration at the school. The work they perform here is incredible, as I always found a helping hand in reach whenever I needed it. I would also like to thank all the other staff here at Life University for helping it stay such a positive and welcoming place. And next, I would like to thank my family and my friends, especially my mom, as I would not be able to be where I am without their support. And finally, I would like to thank and congratulate everyone graduating here today. As a student body, we have done our best to overcome the challenges faced and work together as a team to help encourage everyone to succeed. It has been seen in the classes, the hallways, and all through our campus that the students here are more than just that. We are resourceful, we are hopeful, and we are resilient. In hard times such as these, I am proud to say I was a part of this community of students who overcame such difficulties most will never know. As we move forward, we leave behind these ideas of what to expect from a Life University student. Our work performed is to be admired by all incoming students as a reminder that we can accomplish anything we set our minds to. It is my goal and my hopes for everyone else here that we carry these ideas with us as we move on in life, that we take this education and experience and use it to the best of our abilities, that we never stop chasing our dreams or let any challenge we face stop us from success. To wrap things up, I'd like to share a quote from former President Barack Obama. Keep exploring, keep dreaming, keep asking why. Don't settle for what you already know. Never stop believing in the power of your ideas, your imagination, or your hard work in order to change the world. Congratulations, everyone. Thank
you, Maverick. And now I would like to ask Dr. Jana Holwick, Dean of the College of Graduate and Undergraduate Studies, to present the candidates for the bachelor's degree to Dr. Scott.
Mr. President, the candidates for the bachelor's degree have completed all the academic requirements of Life University and come highly recommended by the faculty and administration to receive their degrees. It is with great pleasure that I present these candidates to you for the conferring of their degrees. Candidates, please rise.
Maverick Tyler Borges, summa cum laude, valedictorian. Sasha M. Kodenach, magna cum laude, salutatorian. Christopher Boomer Borges. Dr. Lori Beth Armstrong Bryson, cum laude. Anna Elizabeth Conville. Dominic DeAndre Davis. Josie Bell Davis. Jadia Chantel Gaskins. Bakar Hadwan. Anatoly Kuzemko, magna cum laude. Martinas Matevichus, summa cum laude. Aracelis Moreno Santana. Rachel Diane Madraga, summa cum laude. There are some graduates who are not here today to join us, but bear announcing their names. Daniel Jeffrey Burning, summa cum laude. Sebastian Daniel Diaz Cruz. Monica A. Ebbing. Clayton Daniel Kuhn. And Zachary Mizell.
Congratulations. You know, in graduation ceremonies, there's at least 2 parts, in some cases 3 parts to the ceremony. And since we have bachelor's, master's, and doctor of chiropractic degrees, I'll give you the preamble on what to expect here. There's the legal part, which is the conferring of the degree. We'll take care of that after each award presentation. And then at the end, there's going to be a symbolic part where we're going to ask you to stand up and move your tassels. With our DC group, the same 2 exist, but we have an ethical part as well, where we're going to read the oath, the chiropractic oath. So at this time, if I could have our bachelor's and associate degree candidates please rise. Candidates with recommendation of the faculty and the administration and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Life University and the state of Georgia, I confer upon each of you the recommended bachelor's and associate degrees with all the rights and privileges thereunto. Congratulations.
Life University also confers 3 master level degrees: Master of Science in Sport Health Science, Master of Science in Positive Psychology, and a Master of Science in Clinical Nutrition. The master's degree is conferred to candidates who have successfully completed a minimum of 52 quarter credit hours of post-baccalaureate coursework and any additional requirements for their particular specialty or concentration. I would ask Dr. Howitt back to the podium to present the candidates for the master's degree to President Scott.
Mr. President, candidates for the master's degree have completed all academic requirements of Life University and come highly recommended by the faculty and administration to receive their degrees. It is with great pleasure that I present to you these candidates for the conferring of their degrees. Candidates, please rise.
Kristen Elizabeth Konosdottir. Melissa Alexandra Wong. Dr. Malcolm Young. Zachary T. Bone. Daniel L. Volk. Jack Walker. And also graduating today but not in attendance, Jennifer Diaz Rivera and Matthew Bentai.
At this time, I'd like to take just the opportunity while we wait for our candidates to return to their seat. Under the circumstances, we have several more individuals joining us at commencement. They'd be Life University's faculty, 136 of them who have contributed greatly to the accomplishments of these young individuals we see before us today. Accommodating the requirements we have to hold this ceremony live, the faculty have voluntarily requested and asked to not be a part of the ceremonies to allow family and friends the opportunity to be here. So in their absence, although I know they're probably watching through live stream, if we could take just a moment to thank the faculty for their significant contribution to what I'm sure will be lives of success and significance to these young individuals, it would be greatly appreciated. So thanks to our Life University faculty. At this time, if I could ask our master's degree candidates to please rise so I may confer the degree. With the recommendation of the faculty administration and the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Life University in the state of Georgia, I confer upon you the recommended master's degree with all its privileges and responsibilities thereunto. Congratulations. You may be seated.
Life University also confers the Doctor of Chiropractic degree on candidates who have successfully completed a rigorous requirements for graduation. The program contains over 4,900 hours of instruction, which includes 5 academic years of study, the successful completion of all required and elective coursework, and a 1.5-year-long clinic internship. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce the recipients of honors for the winter 2021 graduating class. Please stand and remain standing as I call your name. The recipient for the Chiropractic Philosophy Distinction Award is Paola Viñas Joy. The recipient for the Research Track honor is Trevor Ryan Seacroft. And now I would like to introduce the recipients of academic honors. Our salutatorian is Marcus Joseph Hummel. And our valedictorian is Sabrina Weaver. Please be seated. Before I bring our valedictorian up, I would like to share just a little bit about her. Sabrina was born and raised in Sterling Heights, Michigan by her loving parents, Valia and Patrizio. She came across the border and attended the Ohio State University, where she received a Bachelor's of Science in Cognitive and Behavioral Neuroscience. Her older brother, Nick, was her main inspiration for attending Life University's College of Chiropractic, and her parents must be extremely proud and well-adjusted to have 2 chiropractors in her family. Throughout her time here at Life, Sabrina has been heavily involved in the ICPA club and plans to focus on pregnancy and pediatric care after graduation. She is passionate about getting children under care because she believes starting chiropractic at a young age will only help future generations for success when it comes to their health and wellness. Sabrina shares she wouldn't be speaking today without the support of her husband John, her family, her amazing classmates, and the countless chiropractors who helped create, educate her along the way. She hopes that she can make them all proud out in the chiropractic world after today. At this time, I would like to invite Sabrina up to provide the valedictorian address.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just need you guys to give me one more loud round of applause for all these amazing chiropractors here today. Wow, guys, we finally did it. Time really does fly when you're stressed, am I right? Before I start my speech, I want to give some thanks to some people who helped make me the woman and the chiropractor I am today. Thank you to my loving husband, John, for literally listening to me complain every day about this program and how hard it was. My amazing parents, Valia and Patrizio, for reminding me to always reach for the stars. My brother, Nick, who inspired me to become a chiropractor in the first place. And the rest of my entire family and friends. Thank you to my classmates for enduring this long process with me, especially Gigi and Kara. I would not be standing here without you two. Thank you to all the doctors in and outside of this program who helped mold me into the strong, skilled, and knowledgeable chiropractor I plan to be. Lastly, a big thank you to all those medical schools that didn't accept me 4 years ago because they told me I wasn't smart enough for them. So I think everything happens for a reason and that this is where I'm truly meant to be anyway. So I'm going to be that cliche person and I'm going to start my speech with a quote I heard recently. It was, "Those who can't hear the music think the dancer is crazy." Sadly, this is our reality. Chiropractors are those crazy dancers, and chiropractic is the music that this world fails to hear. Maybe they can't hear it because they have an old misconception of what we represent. Maybe they think we're stepping on their toes a little bit. We know that they're probably just too subluxated to hear it, so that's probably the real reason. But either way, from today forward, we need to be the dancers that turn up the music for everyone to hear. We need to be the dancers that put our song on repeat, in the queue, on shuffle, whatever it is. Every day that we are blessed to use these hands, we need to be dancing. We need to be showing people how to dance. And it's not just our patients who need to dance with us. They already hear the music. It's everyone else that we need to get moving. Maybe it's the mom you see at the grocery store struggling to keep up with her 2 kids. Maybe it's a grandpa who thinks he's just too old to prioritize health at his age. Or maybe it's just a little boy who wants to make the soccer team and be the best player. Everyone has the potential to hear the music. We just need to give them the beat to dance to. Because everyone knows that when you start to dance, you can literally lose yourself in the music the moment you want. No, okay, I'm from Detroit, sorry. And remember, in this stage of our career, we might not be the best dancers yet. From this day forward, we still have a lot of steps to learn. But that's okay, because as long as we can hear that music, that alone is enough to make an impact. I am extremely honored to be the valedictorian of this amazing group of chiropractors. This group is truly something special. Over the course of the last 3.5 years, I've gotten to know each of you, whether that was in a big way or a small way, and I can honestly say that we will be the difference we want to see in this world. We will be the flash mob of our generation. And just like that flash mob grows and grows and grows as the music plays on, you must do the same. Every day, continue to grow yourself and take others with you on that journey. But before I end the speech, I want to ask you all to do something for me. Don't change. Don't ever change who you were in this program. You might ask me, why wouldn't I want to change? Well, because each and every one of you has shown me compassion, intelligence, and motivation. If we want chiropractic to be the song of health and wellness, I believe that we need to remain who we are sitting in these seats today. So you should never lose that student inside of you. Always be hungry to learn more of those dance steps. You should never forget how hard this program was either. When you feel like you might be struggling in practice one day, just humble yourself and remember all this adversity you went through to get here. It was worth it, wasn't it? But if you do struggle, remember that the person sitting next to you, the person sitting in front of you, and the person sitting behind you, they're all on your dance team, so lean on them. And lastly, turn up the music that we call chiropractic. Preach innate intelligence, preach vitalism, preach how powerful the nervous system is, preach how amazing our bodies are, and preach what the normal should be. So docs, on this day, the first day of the rest of our lives, are you ready to go out there and dance to the music? Are you ready to go out and dance even if people think you're crazy? Congrats again to all of you. I leave here today knowing that our future is incredibly bright because all of you are in it. Thank you so much.
They're lost in our game. At this time, I'd like to ask Dr. Leslie King, Dean of the College of Chiropractic, to present the candidates to President Scott.
Mr. President, the candidates for the Doctoral Chiropractic degree have completed all academic requirements of the university and demonstrated excellence appropriate to the highest degree Life University bestows. With the recommendation of the faculty and administration, I am honored to present these candidates to you for the conferring of the Doctor of Chiropractic degree. Candidates, please rise.
Sabrina Weaver, summa cum laude, valedictorian, and she is accompanied by her brother, Dr. Nicholas Polidinelli. Marcus Joseph Hummel, summa cum laude, salutatorian. He is accompanied by his grandfather, Dr. Don T. Schaefer, and his parents, Dr. Andrew and Dr. Cynthia Hummel. Ori Adar, summa cum laude, accompanied by her sister, Dr. Lotem Leko. Ricardo Emmanuel Albano Diaz. Norialis Amador Rios, summa cum laude. Sabiha Arna, summa cum laude. Amari Jania Batiste, cum laude. Zachary J. Beckner, magna cum laude. Carlos Xavier Bernier, cum laude. Alvaro Betancourt Bauso, cum laude. Demetrius Antonio Bledsoe. Chandler J. Boggs, magna cum laude, accompanied by his father, Dr. Trent Boggs. Zachary T. Bohm, summa cum laude. Medica Elise Epps Brady, summa cum laude, accompanied by her mother, Dr. Constance Epps, DDS. Timona M. Buchanan. Anthony Charles Calabro, magna cum laude. Stefano Giuseppe Barry Carter, magna cum laude. Madison K. Champagne, magna cum laude. Crystal C.C. Chancellor, cum laude. Nicholas J. Serlencion. Natalie Colon Rodriguez, cum laude. Paola Nicole Colon Rodriguez. Miranda Page Cottrell, magna cum laude. Brian Peter D. Wild, summa cum laude. Rebecca Ann Duncan, magna cum laude. Brandon Arthur Dunn. Alexandria Danielle Evans. Brian Jacob Faust, magna cum laude. Kiana Nicole Favis, cum laude. Cullen M. Fedarko, cum laude, accompanied by his father, Dr. Mark Fedarko. Christopher Figueroa. Jamal M. Brewster. Nicholas John Girardi. Golzar Mika Ganberry, summa cum laude. Min Ki Ji. Antonio Salvatore Giorgio Jr., cum laude. Kimberly A. Givalechian, magna cum laude. Ramses B. Joshua Robert Gurley. Elizabeth G. Hansen, cum laude. Constance Gabrielle Harrison, cum laude. Sarah Lindsay Hayes, cum laude. David Earl Henline. Mackenzie Caitlin Hoare, summa cum laude. Nicholas Matthew Hoare, magna cum laude. Kara Ann Hovel, summa cum laude. Adriana Marie Inerio Aviles. Haifa Marie Ishtea, cum laude. Shayla M. Italo. Valentina Ivezine. Alexander John Jantz. Bryce E. Jordan, magna cum laude. Edwin Alpha Yaya Kamara. Drew Austin Klein. William Latter. Amanda Nicole Lavazari Torres, magna cum laude. Holden Lynn, cum laude, accompanied by his cousin, Dr. Brennan Kelly. Shannon C. Lord, cum laude. Cynthia Joseph Lewis, cum laude. Bernadette Lujan. Rachel Diane Madraga, summa cum laude. Eduardo Javier Maldonado Molinari, cum laude. Trenton M. McDaniel, summa cum laude. William Charles Edward Middleton. Darlene Marie Moody. Kyle Thomas Moore, cum laude. Michael Matthew Narvid, cum laude. John T. Quinn, magna cum laude. Mariellis Arlene Nieves, magna cum laude. Elliot Nilsson. Lane Patrick O'Day, cum laude. Danaya Nairami Ortiz Irizarry. Gustavo André Pérez Caballero. Ryan Petrini, cum laude. Jacqueline Marie Reiser, cum laude. Matthew Vaughn Terrence Richmond. Tyler Deshawn Ridley. Manuel Rivera Cora. Patricia Rivera Rodriguez. Stephanie M. Roman Moreno, summa cum laude. Mohammed Salmon. Jeannie Samantha Schneck, magna cum laude. Trevor Ryan Seacroft, summa cum laude. Nixon Serrano Negron. Cameron Ty Shally. Kiersey Singh, magna cum laude. Kirsten Zandria Stambaugh. Martavius Chevelle Taylor, cum laude. Ninoshka Tirado Perez, cum laude. Sebastian Leopold Kai Vanderkuel. Cody Zarek Van Natter. Blake A. Vickers, summa cum laude. Paola Andrea Viñas Joy, summa cum laude. Daniel L. Volk, magna cum laude. Charles Edward Walker, Jr. Jack Walker, summa cum laude. Joseph Allen Wheeler. Also graduating today but not in attendance, Rafael A. Fonseca Rodriguez. Elena Goroskaipa. Devin Robert Mary. Ricardo E. Portela Cabal. Ali Sina Rezian. And Miguel A. Serrano Marin.
Just take a moment to acknowledge some symbolism that has occurred through graduation. We talk about transformational leadership a great deal during our students' education here at Life, and it's more than just symbolism. We take it very seriously. And what you've seen are candidates approaching the stage, being welcomed by our student council representative, and then crossing the stage and shaking the hands with our alumni representative. We take the transformation from the student to alumni very seriously. Another thing that we saw in the DC program was some of our graduates were being accompanied to the stage by family members. Again, this signifies the long tradition of chiropractic and healthcare that we recognize and celebrate within the chiropractic and healthcare community. We'll take care of the last piece of business here on the legal side of the chiropractic education. If I could ask our degree candidates to please rise. With the recommendation of the faculty and the administration and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Life University in the state of Georgia, I hereby confer upon each of you the Doctor of Chiropractic degree with all its rights and responsibilities thereunto. Congratulations. You may be seated. You know, Sabrina mentioned in her valedictorian address to turn the music up and go out and dance. But you know, it's been an interesting 13 months, hasn't it? And sometimes the music isn't loud enough, and frankly, there's been nobody to dance with. And it's during times like this when we miss our friends and our life community and being on this beautiful campus. So for the past 13 months of remote instruction, social distancing, and isolation, we've come to appreciate that, you know, being a community, a life community, doesn't necessarily mean having to share proximity with one another. Simply being part of this community, wherever you are, is part of the life community. You know, Maxwell Maltz, that famous surgeon, wrote a book called Psycho-Cybernetics, and in this he said that, you know, your mind can't tell the difference between something imagined vividly and in great detail from reality. So during those times and days and months ahead, when you're off in your communities pursuing your respective careers, and that music isn't maybe quite as loud as you'd like it to be, we'd like to offer you a little something to ground you and bring you right back to your life community, to provide you something vividly and in great detail that will continually anchor you to your peers, friends, and family here at Life. So, you'll never hear those songs the same way again, will you? That was awesome. And you know, there's never been truer words spoken than what you just heard. The world won't get no better if it's just left alone. Isn't that true? We all have a big job ahead of us. And a special honor I have right now is to introduce our commencement speaker to you for today's ceremony. And he's certainly someone who needs no introduction on this campus. I read this and I don't know why, because I always end up tripping over my tongue, because I've known our speaker for 20 plus years. He has served the chiropractic community with distinction for 45 plus years, an innovator and educator, and has been the president of 2 institutions, including this institution as my predecessor for the past 15 years. As a result of his significant contributions to Life University, the Board of Trustees bestowed upon our speaker the honorary title of Chancellor Emeritus, a very significant honor. Recently, he has once again demonstrated his entrepreneurial spirit, for which he has been known for 45 years, and is off on new projects in the private sector. But it is my pleasure to share with you someone we all know, Chancellor Emeritus, Dr. Guy Riekeman.
Only at Life graduation you get Ray Charles and John Legend. Thank you, that was great. It's rare that I get to, after 15 years, just sit and watch people walk across the stage with great pride. And those of you who are paying any attention in the audience notice that the graduates hailed from Syria, to the Netherlands, to California, from Wisconsin, to my residence in Puerto Rico. This is an amazing group of people that is going to transform the world. They'll tell you, because they sat in my rights and responsibilities class early on in their first quarter, that I'm a film buff. In fact, more than a film buff. Until COVID hit, I would still watch 6 to 8 movies a week in theaters, not at home, in theaters where real movies show. I remember as a young child, there are a few things I remember about my childhood. My mother and my sister would sit around all the time and talk about things as if they happened yesterday, and I'd hear these stories that I was a part of and I couldn't even remember any of them. But one of the things I remember early on in life was begging my mother unmercifully. We lived in a little farming community outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico, every week to drop us off at the Highland Theater on North Central Avenue in Albuquerque so we could watch movies. And I came to love films, so much so that at one point in my life when I was burned out, I dropped out and enrolled for giggles and grins at UCLA Film School. And I learned a lot at film school. One of the things I learned that I'd like to reference today, when you watch a film, you're really not watching a motion picture. You're really watching a bunch of still frames that have been shot one at a time that are running through a projector at 24 frames per second and give us the illusion that there's actually motion going on the screen. In the quantum physics world we live in today, as people try to explain science, tries to explain lives, one of the prevalent concepts is that in fact our life is like that. It's a series of still frames that we construct along the way, and in so doing create a story called our individual lives. And so when I went to film school, the Bible of film writing is a little book by a guy by the name of Ed Fields. And he points out that every film, other than a handful of films throughout the course of the history of film, all follow exactly the same formula. There's a beginning, like any great story, there's a middle, and there's an end. And if you go next time to the theater and you watch a movie or you're watching it at home, the beginning always introduces the characters, including the hero, which in the story we're going to talk about is you. The hero is me. We all start out in life to be the hero, didn't we? In our own particular story, the protagonist that was going to do something significant. So the protagonist and all the important characters are introduced in about the first 15 minutes of the film. And then Ed Field says there's a pivot point. Something happens to the hero. Something happens to the protagonist that sets them off on a different course. They have an antagonist, something in front of them, an individual, something to overcome. And the rest of the film is about whether or not they can overcome that. And so we have the middle of the film, which is actually where most films fall apart. It runs for about an hour in the theater. And in the middle of the film, there are all sorts of subplots. Different people get introduced. We see how history has affected our protagonist. We see the antagonist gaining power and authority. We wonder if it's ever going to be overcome. And really, the quality of a film has to do with the value and complexity and interactions of those subplots for that hour in the middle of the film. It stands in contrast to pornography films, by the way, which have no subplots. There's only one line through the whole film. Everybody knows how it starts, what's going to happen in the middle, and what happens at the end. So a good film, though, has subplots. And then there's a second pivot point, somewhere towards the end of the film, about 15 minutes before the film, where all of a sudden a transformation occurs in our hero, in our protagonist. And they've overcome the antagonist, and the last 15 minutes of the film is them cleaning up what they need to clean up. So I want you to place this into the beginning, middle, and end of your film. Not when you get to observe, but get this now, when you get to create. And what were the pivot points? What will be the pivot points in this film? For me, there were 3 of them. One of them, and I was if I were graduating today, walking across the stage with me would be my dad, who graduated in 1947 from chiropractic school, in those classes where there were 3,000 students in the post-war in Davenport, Iowa. My mom, who worked in his office from the day they opened up in Albuquerque, New Mexico in 1947 until she passed away at age 93. And she worked in that office every single day. My sister took over when my dad couldn't do it any longer. And she worked there every day until she passed away at age 93. Not because she loved it, she just couldn't figure out how to get anyone to run the front desk the way they were supposed to. So she had to go in every day and do it herself, right? That was my mom. She was a fighter. So my sister would be walking across the stage with me, and then my daughter and my son-in-law would be walking across the stage. I had the privilege of graduating them when I was at Palmer. And now my grandson, who's roaming around town this weekend looking for a place to live, and my second grandson are getting ready to start chiropractic college. So I understand this story of chiropractic and the struggles. I watched my father when I was growing up, and as I became a chiropractor, reflected back on what he went through. But those weren't the pivot points of my life. They're part of the hero, the subplot that ran through all of this. A subplot that started for me early in life that said, you know what, the status quo just doesn't make sense to me most of the time. How people do it isn't necessarily the right way to do it. And of course, in healthcare, that came down to a major fight. Because as I looked at healthcare, I said, this isn't healthcare. This is disease and sickness care. And we need to bring a different idea into that world and fight for that idea. So I was the protagonist, the hero of my story, and the antagonist was the status quo. The antagonist was a healthcare system that watched people die, a healthcare system that's now the 3rd leading cause of death in the United States. And that just doesn't seem right. And we should fight that. And so the pivot points happened for me. One of them being a basketball player, All-American. Wound up sitting in Davenport, Iowa at Palmer College while I was transferring schools. You couldn't do that back then without sitting out for a year. And the Vietnam War was waging, and if you sat out at home, you were headed to Vietnam. So my dad, as a chiropractor, said, why don't you sit out for a year at Palmer College? And I did 3/4 worth, getting ready to leave in the spring and head up to DePaul University to finish playing basketball. And Virgil Strang, who taught anatomy at the time, later became the president of Palmer College, gave us some extra credit points if we go listen to a speaker in an old, dark, dingy auditorium in Davenport, Iowa, that had been a nunnery. Campus had bought it, but not refurbished it yet. And so we went to hear the speaker, not because we really had any interest in the speaker, but if you've ever been to Davenport, you know there's not a whole lot going on in the middle of the week. And I heard a guy named Reggie Gold get up and talk for 4 hours. I couldn't tell you anything that he said that night, but I knew 3 hours into this, the pivot point had happened. I knew I wasn't going to leave that school. And all of a sudden, my interest changed from playing basketball to being a chiropractor, which I became. And set up my practice successfully in Kansas City. Wound up helping another chiropractic college get started, taught philosophy there for 3 years. Wound up creating a management company with all the subplots going on in the middle of my career. And then burnt out and wound up on a beach in Southern California. And you know people that tell you get tired of laying around on the beach every day? It's a lie. It was one of the best moments of my life. But I have to tell you something. You can't find passion on a beach, at least not the right kind. And I have a card that sort of summed up who I was at the time, my attitudes. It said, and I keep it, I look at it now and then, so as not to romanticize that moment. It said, someday I want to live by the sea, so that I only have to have jerks on 3 sides of me. And in the midst of all of that, a friend of mine drugged me to a one-night conference, a 5-hour seminar in San Diego, California. All right. We drove the 2.5 hours from LA down to San Diego, walked into an auditorium. There were 10,000 people there that night to hear a speaker. And the stage was really simple. This was way, way old school, when it wasn't even old school, it was just school. And up on the stage was nothing more than a big platform about this size and a chalkboard about half the size of the platform, so that 10,000 people could see one diagram that the speaker was going to put up that night. And a guy by the name of Werner Erhard walked out on stage. Some of you have taken landmark education or the forum. He was the precursor, or the pre-runner to all of that. That's training, Werner Erhard. And he put up 3 big circles on the stage. The inner circle said, these are all the things you know. The status quo, what got us here, what keeps us locked in, and every time we try to get outside of that, our body says it's too scary and forces us back in to what we know. And then he put a circle just outside that circle and said, these are all the things we know as human beings that we don't know. Like I know that I don't know how to speak Russian. I knew at the time that I knew that I didn't know how to get up in front of people and make a presentation. And you know what? We realize that we need to get into this realm of we know that we don't know, but too often we're frightened to do so. It took me a year to have enough courage to stand up in my office to talk to a handful of patients one Wednesday evening at 6:30 ages ago. And then outside of that, he drew another great big circle that said, this is the realm that we don't know, that we don't even know. The realm of possibility. And that's what Sabrina was talking about today. The realm that most people live in, thinking they understand what health is, what they need to do to be healthy, knowing that they're headed towards disease probably at some point in their life, and they'll have to treat it with expensive technology. And we're standing outside screaming, hey, there's a realm that you don't know that you don't even know. And of course, we look a little crazy at certain times when we do that. And so all of a sudden that night, that pivot point, my life became, what's possible as a human being? Not just what path am I on, but what's possible as the universe opens up doors along the way. And the third pivot point happened to me not that long ago, in an auditorium down the road with about 7,000 people, and a character by the name of His Holiness the Dalai Lama speaking. And interestingly enough, because of our relationship at Life University, with people around him, we had a private audience. I had a private audience with the Dalai Lama. It was sort of an amazing day. It was a little room, a private audience, just so you know. In the room are 10 CIA guys in black uniforms speaking in their wrist, because he's a head of state and they have to protect him. There's 10 military people there with fatigues, with hand grenades and automatic weapons in the room, because he's considered a terrorist in China. They want to make sure no one tries to harm him. Be terrible in the United States if the Dalai Lama got off in the United States. It just would not be good politically. Then there's all the monks and the press, and that's a private audience with the Dalai Lama. And so I went and sat there with him, And it was one of the greatest conversations, lasted about 20 minutes. We talked, he's a real jokester, so we talked about things. In the middle of it, I invited him to come visit Life University, and he said, sure. And everybody freaked out at that time because then all of his handlers had to make that try to happen. It almost did happen, by the way. We were a few weeks away from it just a couple of years ago before things fell apart. And I walked out of the room at the end of this, and we had not talked about what I'm going to tell you in a moment. But almost 20 years earlier, 2 medical doctors had done something we told them not to do in examining my daughter, and she died because of it. I hated those guys. That was a subplot in the middle of my life. I hated those guys. I think I would have harmed them if I ever was around them. And I walked out of the room after having a conversation, and I had this feeling of forgiveness just flow all over my body. And we hadn't talked about it at all in those 15, 20 minutes. And it was a pivot point in my life. What are going to be the pivot points in your life that you attach things to? And you know what? One of the things I discovered with those pivot points, they're all about basic principles about who we are as human beings. And I've learned to distinguish between the principles and the lessons. Here's a principle: integrity. Living with integrity. It's a principle. It has outcomes. The Dalai Lama said one time, you should live your life with integrity so you get to enjoy it twice. Once while you're doing it, and at the end when you look back on it. How terrible would it be to get to the end of your life and look back on it and regret the damage you've done to yourself and other people because you didn't live with integrity? That's a principle. One of the lessons I learned came from my mother one day when I was growing up. We used to live in this little country out in New Mexico. And they'd give me a BB gun for Christmas. And my sister was a year and a half younger than me. We were down playing out in the field. And I decided to make her dance like in the old Westerns where you shoot at their feet. And I did that. And man, did I realize there are consequences to that when I got home. That wasn't a principle. That was a lesson. Watch, here are the principles that I learned. They're really simple. Live with integrity. If you're in a relationship, honor it and be monogamous. There's a power in the universe, whatever you want to call it, that's greater than each and every one of us. And while we don't understand it, maybe we can comprehend it a little bit. My ideas are my own. There's no such thing as a collective brain. And you should take your ideas and spread them in the world. They're important. And the last one, very simple principle: it is just wrong to use physical force against another human being for any reason other than self-defense. You know what? Those are the principles that I've learned in life. And I've found that the outcome, the lessons, keep coming over and over because of them. Respect and trust and commitment and friendship and tolerance and loyalty. There was a speaker I actually heard at campus here one time that said, you know what? You need to keep your heart hand, what you love and what you believe in, separated from your business hand. And I always thought that was a bit odd. Because what he was basically saying is you get to live your life with integrity, so to speak, but then you get to do whatever you want to in business, regardless of how it impacts people. I disagree. I hear people say all the time, it's not personal, it's just business. Oh, no, I've learned in life one of the lessons, it's personal. It has impact on people. It'd be like saying to someone, as you're getting a divorce, it's not personal, it's just relationships. Let me tell you what, it is personal. It's all personal. How many atrocities have been carried out in the realm of it's just business, it's not personal? Or it's for the greater good. Or I love the new one that came up in COVID. We're all in this together. Well, I found out that what that meant was that if you get on Delta Airlines and we're all in this together, they get to do whatever they want to do and we should tolerate it, but if you have a special exception you need, that doesn't fit policy. Guess what? We're in this together, but that requires each and every one of us to live with purity and intensity and integrity and respect and tolerance and forgiveness. So I end with one simple quote. One of the greatest teachers of all time, Mother Teresa, when she said, I'm a little pencil in the writing hand of a loving God, sending a love letter to the world. What is your story going to look like, beginning, middle, and end? What are the pivot points? And at the end, can you look back and say, I was the best pencil possible in sending a love letter to the world? Chiropractic students, you're now colleagues. Thank you for participating. We hand you the next brick, and we ask you to place your brick in the wall of humanity for the next generation. We love you. Give, serve, love, and do out of gratitude and abundance. Thank you.
So, chiropractic candidates, you'd like to begin to write the subplots of the rest of your life. I'd ask you to please stand and repeat the chiropractic oath. In your handouts, you'll find the oath if you'd like to follow along. This will be an open book test for you, the last one you'll have at your time here at Life University. Candidates, you repeat after me. In accordance with the law of nature, that law which God has prescribed to all humankind, and in consequence of my dedication to the health of humankind, by the application of that law, I promise and swear to keep the following oath to the best of my ability and judgment. I will observe and practice every acknowledged rule of professional conduct in relation to my profession, my patients, my colleagues, and myself. I will keep an open mind regarding the progress of my profession, provided that that progression shall be confined within the boundaries of the chiropractic science, philosophy, and art. I will serve my patients to the best of my ability, violating neither their confidence nor their dignity. And in my association with patients, I shall not violate that which is moral and right. I shall regard and refer to my fellow chiropractor with honor, giving credit where it is due. I shall improve my knowledge and skill, firm in my resolution to justify the responsibility which the degree Doctor of Chiropractic symbolizes and imposes. To all this I pledge myself, knowing these ideals are prescribed by the dictates of reason alone. Congratulations, Doctors of Chiropractic. If I could ask all of our graduates, associates, bachelor's, master's degree candidates to please rise. At this time, we'll turn our tassels from left to right. Graduates of March 2021, please turn and present yourself to our audience. Congratulations.
Please be seated for just a couple minutes. I know I'm the only thing between this and the rest of the world. So just really quick, can we get everybody down? All right. Today is a day of celebration, but before we close, I would like for you to reflect just for a minute on a phrase you've heard several times today. The President conferred upon each of you a degree with all the privileges and responsibilities. These privileges then bring along with them responsibilities. Responsibilities to make good use of your earned knowledge, skills, and your values. Today you join a long line of distinguished alumni who have taken that responsibility seriously and worked to make the world a better place. I hope you leave here today with a deep appreciation of your time here at Life University and a strong commitment to life's values of lasting purpose, integrity, and vitalism. And please put your education, your energy, your enthusiasm to good use to make the world a better place for generations to come. Please enjoy today, but tomorrow you've got work to do. Congratulations.